Hi, first grade. Today I grabbed a worksheet that I sent home with you, and this is going to be based on the art element of line. And so when we talk about lines are something we use all the time. We use them when we're writing our name, we use them when we do math, we use them to make shapes, and so we want to identify them. And I put 3 of them on the top of my paper, that these are 3 that you always want to remember. And then we're going to add on to those and think of other types of lines. So the first one is vertical. Vertical lines are going to be lines that are straight up and down, straight north to south. Okay, so there's a vertical line, and you can take your worksheet and work with me. Horizontal are lines that are side to side. Okay. Diagonal are lines that are corner to corner. So a lot of times with this one, think about a slide, sliding down it. So you could say diagonal, like you're sliding down. Horizontal, imagine a race car going horizontal, going straight across. And vertical, like someone's jumping from a diving board and saying vertical, boom, and they go into the water. Okay, so these 3 are 3 that I want you to always be able to identify. Let's talk about some other lines. Other lines that we can think about are zigzag. So zigzag, think about that idea of a zipper. Okay, so zigzag lines. Another line would be curly lines. So go ahead and work on your worksheet with me. Another line could be, let's think about it. How about wavy lines? Thinking about the ocean. Wavy lines. Okay, so there's a few so far. Okay, another line I can think about would be dotted. Okay, so you can keep working with me. Another line, this is a fun one, this is called a spiral. So you start in from the inside and you go around and around and around. Okay, kind of like a whirlpool. So that would be a spiral. And the last one I'm going to do is a scalloped line. So my scallops could go downward, or my scallops could actually go upward. So you could think of which ones you would like to think about. Now, there are obviously tons of different lines that you can think about, but these are a few that I think are very helpful for us to think about and know and be really able to use. And so I want you to go ahead, fill out your worksheet, and then follow along with our next project. Okay, so now that we went and we thought about all of our different types of lines, we just finished our worksheet. In your art packet, there is a piece of styrofoam. Now, styrofoam, you want to be really careful because we don't want to put a hole in it. But what's really fun about styrofoam is you can draw on it, and we're going to do some printmaking with this. And so this is going to be a project we work on now, and then next art class, we're going to continue. So what you're going to think about is creating different line patterns. Okay, so think about a pattern. What is a pattern? Something that repeats itself. So it could be, patterns could be numbers. So I could say 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're used to patterns like that in math, but we could also think about patterns of lines, patterns of shapes, and eventually even patterns of color. So using my worksheet here, I'm going to organize some of my ideas, and I want you to notice I do have a very dull pencil, a very, very like dull tip, but you don't want it to be too pointy because it's very hard to draw on the styrofoam. So I'm going to use my pencil to begin creating some lines going across. And as I'm working, you can tell that we can see the pencil lines, but also I'm almost like I'm carving into my styrofoam. And that is going to be very important for the continuation of this lesson. Okay, so I can start with a zigzag. I could always repeat my zigzag as well. So don't be afraid to repeat them. The more line patterns that you do, the more colorful your end product can be and the more detailed and designed it can be. You could even think about making designs inside. So I can even think about shapes. So I am going to keep working on this, and I will be back with what my finished product looks like. And I'm going to point out a couple details. So this will take you a little bit of time. You can see I am pushing with that pencil, making sure I'm going kind of carving in. It's called embossing. I could also come in and color in some of these triangles if I want. So I'm pushing that styrofoam down. And once again, that will make a little more sense as we move on, and I'll show you why we're doing that. Okay, so go ahead and work on some line patterns, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished. You can see I did color in areas with my pencil. And next week, when we come back, you'll have your worksheet completed. You will have your styrofoam completed. Please take your time. I don't want you to rush. This is a really great art project. You're gonna love what I'm gonna show you next week. It's kind of like magic. So I want you to work on these. Think about different patterns. Think about how you can color in a few areas. Think about how you can even do repetition where you're repeating shapes. So have fun with it, and I will see you next week with the next step. Very exciting. Bye-bye.